Barack Hussein Obama Soetoro murdered 1,000 Christians and raped both men and women using $1 million in his U.S. campaign funds in order to subvert an election, a democratic election in his home nation of British Kenya, for his communist cousin, Odinga Ate My Baby. 800 Christian churches were arsoned by Obama using his American campaign funds, with dozens of people cooked alive in the church, just like Waco, Texas. To stop the violence, the Kenyan government was extorted by Obama to make his cousin prime minister, a job that did not exist. So everyone who donated money to Obama's campaign literally financed terrorism, murders, and rapes of Christians in Kenya to create a Marxist communist government that was successful, because even though he lost the presidential election, he was made prime minister, a job that did not exist. You cannot have a president prime minister. That's an oxymoron. Kenyan insiders say Obama was part of takeover strategy. Used 2006 fact-finding trip to Kenya to criticize the sitting president. By Jerome Corsi, WorldNet Daily, October 16, 2008. Corsi traveled to Kenya for this article and was immediately arrested by Obama's communist cousin, Odinga Ate My Baby. Corsi was going to pay $1,000 to Obama's half-brother, who is currently living on $10 a month in Kenya, starving to death because Obama won't even take care of his own family. So if you think Obama is going to help you in the welfare socialist state in the United States, it's not going to happen. If he won't even take care of his own brother, and will arrest anybody who tries to take care of his own brother. Of course, he also went to Kenya to interview Obama's grandmother, who's telling everyone she knows that she eyewitnessed Obama being born in a Kenyan hospital, which means Obama is not eligible to be president of the United States. He's not eligible to be a citizen of the United States. He's not eligible to be a U.S. senator. In fact, he's an illegal alien subject to immediate arrest and deportation. Obama and his lawyers and the Democratic National Committee have admitted this in federal court last week in the case of Phil Berg versus Obama. Former members of Kenyan opposition leader Raila Odinga Ate My Baby's Orange Democratic Movement Party, a Marxist communist party, told WorldNet Daily when Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama visited Kenya on a fact-finding trip in 2006, he was carrying out a secret election strategy that also included exploiting divisive tribal tensions and ultimately taking advantage of rioting and terrorism that left 1,000 people dead. The strategy document outlining the campaign earlier was referenced in the book The Abomination on the New York Times bestseller list, but at that time was not fully authenticated. However, now research conducted in Kenya by WorldNet Daily has confirmed the authenticity of the strategy memo, which was prepared by a 5-person Odinga Ate My Baby core strategy team led by Peter A. Nyong'o, the Secretary General of Odinga Ate My Baby's Orange Democratic Movement Party, with the assistance of 4 key Odinga ODBM strategists, including Odinga speechwriter Adams Olu. It was reported to have been smuggled out of ODM offices by Christian former ODM officials. WorldNet Daily sources in Kenya included several top ODM officials who played key roles in Odinga's 2007 presidential campaign, only to turn on Odinga when the campaign's memorandum of understanding with Sheikh Abdullah Abdi, the chairman of the National Muslim Leaders Forum, proved to be real. In that August 27, 2007 document, Odinga's promises within 6 months of becoming president, he would rewrite the Constitution of Kenya to recognize Sharia as the only true law sanctioned by the Holy Quran for Muslim declared religions. The former ODM sources in Kenya supported the authenticity of the campaign strategy by noting Odinga did conduct a campaign against President Mwai Kibaki by charging his administration with corruption, advancing anti-Kibaki sentiments aimed at inciting Kenyan youth to vote for Odinga, and ultimately calling for protest and terrorism and violence by Odinga's fellow Luo tribal members. Kibaki is of the majority Kikuyu tribe. The protests turned violent, and in January and February, a brutal wave of Odinga supporting machete-wielding communist Luo mobs killed an estimated 1,000 members of the Kikuyu tribe, displaced over 350,000 Kenyans from their homes, and destroyed 800 Christian churches, all without a single mosque being damaged. The sources reported Odinga simply was following the script his policy strategists laid out for him in the Nyong'o strategy document with Obama. The strategy document can be read at piratenews-tv.blogspot.whatever. Obama's involvement amounted to a coordination with Odinga on the campaign, according to the sources. The general tone of the strategy was to encourage the Odinga campaign to claim to be leading in the presidential race, regardless of the actual numbers, and be prepared to proclaim victory, even if Odinga lost. The official poll results showed he lost to the incumbent by about 250,000 votes. The plan called for opportunities for Odinga to pursue, including efforts to exploit anti-Kikuyu statements with the determination to leverage the vulnerability of the Kibaki administration responses to corruption and confront Kibaki with a powerful anti-corruption message. The final strategy the document calls for is exploiting ethnic tensions and using violence as a last resort, terrorism, to gain power. Among the 1,000 killed, reports say, were several dozen women and children who died when the Christian church in which they had sought refuge from marauding Muslim gangs was burned down around them. The ex-ODBM sources said Obama and Odinga followed the strategy script exactly, including the ultimate use of tribal conflict to gain power. While Odinga never had explicitly demanded violence, the former ODM sources said Odinga used code language to his Luo backers to convey the instructions to burn Kibaki homes, rape women and rape men, and kill men. Obama's part in the strategy was to openly attack the Kibaki administration in meetings with Odinga in a very public attendance at Obama's side, the sources said. WorldNet Daily previously reported a news report by Chicago WBBM TV news team of Obama's 2006 trip to Kenya. The report showed the senator undermining the Kibaki government in a speech delivered to the editorial staff at the Nairobi offices of The Standard, a prominent Nairobi newspaper, and had a separate appearance in which Obama delivered a speech in public at Nairobi University 2 hours after his appearance at The Standard. Ex-ODBM sources argued Obama and Odinga together were implementing in a coordinated fashion the strategy the Nyong'o-led policy advisors had crafted in the internal strategy document. The two politicians remained in touch through that time period, as WorldNet Daily has published a report referencing a copy of a private December 22, 2006 email in which Obama personally informed Odinga that all her correspondence will be handled by Mr. Mark Lippert. Lippert at that time was serving as a foreign policy advisor in Obama's U.S. Senate office in Washington, D.C. CIA agent, in other words. The Washington Times also reported Odinga visiting Obama during 3 trips the Kenyan politician made to the U.S. in 2004, 2005, and 2006. The Times also reported Obama sent his Senate office foreign policy advisor, Lippert, to Kenya in early 2006 to coordinate and arrange for Obama's Senate fact-finding visit to Kenya later that year.
Your enemy is not surrounding your country. Your enemy is ruling your country.